G'day there, it's Dave here, Dave Mills, with another exciting Tarka by the Pool audios. Now, after you've listened to number one, I'm sure you're keen to listen to number two. What could he possibly say about Tarka while he lounges by the pool, drinking coffee, watching the dog run around the backyard of his neighbour? And all right, this is I've just had a little brief thought about it, and I'm ready to dive in. Okay, what I want to talk about is passivity and indifference. Now, uh, what one of the greatest things that you can do is not respond to your opponent. The more you prevent yourself, you have the discipline to restrain your actions and reactions to them, the sharper the game, the more complex the game, the more you can pose your will upon them while they struggle to pose their will on you. Now, that's not what I'm talking about here with passivity. Passivity is moving a bishop behind a pawn that can't move. So that bishop is locked down that diagonal, or keeping your pieces very inward focused on your half of the territory rather than active focus, on their half of the board. Activity is how many of your opponent's squares on their territory that you attack. So and how many squares in total as well within your territory. And to do that, you need space, and you get your space by the wall being forward. If your wall is very cramped, the whole point of that is so that at some point it breaks forward. I mean, with wall openings and openings like the Spartan formation and the Russian wall, all these openings that move the pawns very, very close to their back rank are doing so the opponent charges into that space, takes that space, so that you can then launch your attack from a coordinated, strong formation. You don't leave anything. Everything is developed before you attack, and but at the same time, passivity is when you let them just get so much space in your half of the board, get so much control, so many pieces in your half of the board that your pieces can't do anything. You've turned pieces into pawns. Big defenders doing nothing but just staying there defending, and they have the initiative. They can slowly restrict you and choke you because their space is so much more superior. Their pieces are so much more dynamic and have many more squares they can remaneuver to increase and turn the screws to gain even more space, even more pressure. So you want to definitely not be passive. You want your pieces attacking their territory. You want your pieces to be able to coordinate together. Passivity is the inability to coordinate because you are defending. So you want to get out of it. Sometimes the best defense is the best defense. And sometimes by sheer will and defense, you can work your way back to where you can open up your pieces and you can counterattack. But that has to be planned from the beginning. You have to start from the beginning, acknowledging you're going to give up space. You're going to let them get forward, forward operating positions and outposts and structure in your country, in your territory. You're doing that so that you're building up your concentration of your forces, so that then you attack the center, then you break free, and methodically, and with your heavies behind your pawns and your open lines, and you attack their attack, and so that is already got to be planned out from the beginning. All right, or you just end up being in like a dinosaur caught in a tar pit, and so it doesn't matter how much you thrash around, you sink down further and further and further until you get checkmated. And so in Tarka, the attacker has the advantage because of the ability to sacrifice. If you have the advantage, you have the initiative, you have the attack, at some point sacrifice is up your sleeve, and defense struggles against sacrifice. So that's it. And I would just say finally about indifference. Indifference is worse than passivity. That's where you just don't care about what they're doing. If you restrain from responding to, if you don't react to them, that's different. That's where you care about what they're doing, but you're focusing on your plan, your coordination, your pieces, and but that doesn't mean you don't care and you're watching them carefully. Indifference is defeat. Indifference is defeat. Okay, there you go. That is Tarka by the Pool, number 2. All right, take care, everyone. Bye.